it's going to, like I say, inspire the hell out of you, this session that we're going to do now. And basically, I couldn't believe that this is the last Motivation and Mind Hacks of 2017. This is this is live broadcast 239. Can you believe we've done 239 broadcasts? Probably not just this year, that's just this year and 2016 as well, I think. But we've been smashing it out, haven't we? Getting loads and loads and loads of stuff done. And what I wanted to do tonight is cover ultimately my top 3, what I'm calling game-changing golden lessons of 2017, because a lot, when you think back, 2017 has gone so fast, hasn't it? Particularly December, I think, has just gone, crazy. It's just gone, flown by. But we've all had stuff happen to us in 2017, and whether you think your year has been great or it's been terrible or whatever, we need to actually look at it as the gift that it was, right? This is life. This is just basically it. Whether you've achieved what you wanted to achieve or not, I'm guessing, and give me some hearts if you agree on Periscope or some comments on Facebook, that regardless of what's happened this year, you've learned a shed ton of lessons that I'm hoping, fingers crossed, you can implement in 2018 to drive you forward to have an even better year next year, if this year hasn't been what you want. But you've also got to realise as well that better has no finish line, right? And that might sound a bit cliched, but ultimately we want to be growing all the time, getting better every year. So you're always going to want to improve the next year, the next year, the next year. I'm 35 now. I hope to God when I'm 95, I'm going to be like, right, whatever year that's going to be, I'm going to make, year 20, 80, an amazing year or whatever. So we've got to be looking for constant improvement. But I want to share with you. I'm going to put this slide up now. And I don't know if I've got these slides ready just yet, guys. I'm going to press this button because this was all to the last minute getting this organised. Bear me 2 seconds. The screen might go blank for just a second, but it will just be a second while I sort it out. It might not, though. And it's not. There you go. The gods are shining down on us. So the presentation is up on the screen now. So you can see, my 3 game-changing golden lessons of 2017. And tonight's going to be a bit multimedia. So I'm going to be playing you some slides. I'm going to be talking. I want some interaction from you guys and some lessons that you've learned. Also going to be playing you a couple of videos along the way that are both motivational, but not just motivational in terms of, I don't just want them to just fire you up. I want them to make you realise some really useful and valuable lessons this year that are going to help you kick ass in 2018, both in your career, out your career, in your personal life, relationships, physicality, whatever you want, okay? Give this a share for us. I know a lot of people already have, but I'm going to play this video for you almost in a minute to start, and this is going to fire people up. It's valuable for them. Gina, hello on Facebook. Hi from Canada here whilst we're on holiday. Gina's watching from Canada. Amazing. We've got Canada in the house. We've got Chicago in the house. We've got good old the UK. I learned that I'm a sexy beast after years of denial, says Bobby. Great lesson to learn in 2017. Give this a tweet or a share for us on Facebook. Would massively appreciate it. Miss Gypsy says, I'm so pumped already. Not sure if I'll sleep. Well, Karen, I'm telling you, get ready to be pumped. Got the slide up now for those on the audio experience. I'm going to read it to you. It says, I cannot believe 2017 is nearly over. What a year it has been. I actually can't believe when I was writing this slide. I can't believe I'm writing this slide. Where has the year gone? I always get super reflective at this time of year, even quite emotional, right? It's a weird time, isn't it? Christmas is such a nostalgic time. It's the only time of year where I can tear up, hearing a song. I'll hear a bloody Christmas song or whatever, and I'll go, my God, it's and I'm pretty alpha, right? But I can get really emotional at this time of year. It makes you reflect back. It makes you remember things from the past, previous Christmases, previous years, what you wanted to do at the start of this year, whether you've done it or not, etc., etc. It's a great time of year for growth, though, okay? And I've put here 365 days have gone, right? We can't get those back. They're done, gone forever, okay? And whether your year has been good or bad, please remember what a gift it has been. There are many people, and we'll look at this tonight, who didn't make it this far this year. I've had close friends, this is something I'm going to talk about tonight, whose parents have died this year. People around me have lost their lives, man. And it's we've got to just be so grateful, regardless of the year that we've had, that we're still here. You know what? If you're in pain right now, but you're still here, we can do shit about it. Okay? It's not over because you're still here, all right? Before I give you my 3 game-changing golden lessons of 2017, I'd like to play you a very powerful video, and I hope it drives the shit out of you, okay? This is you'll know I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk. He's a bit of a business mentor of mine. I met him in London This year, actually, this was what, this was something that changed my life this year, meeting this guy actually in the flesh. Tony says he lost a buddy from college this year. Man, I'm telling you, Tony, like, mortality and awareness of that is absolutely critical. But this is the last video that Gary's putting out this year, and I saw it today and I was like, I want to play this, my audience. John says my uncle passed away this year. Again, just a reminder, this is it. Like, we're not mucking about. This video from Gary, I want to play you now. It's got a lot of truth in it, and you're going to hear from people that Gary's met. It's filmed a bit ghetto because Gary documents his day like me. I have a guy filming me now. I got that, basically, that entire concept from Gary. He has that, so not all of this is super, super clear. But please listen. It's only about 5 or 6 minutes long. Please listen to this and just have a little reflection on how your year has been this year. And then I'm going to jump back on. I'm going to give you these 3 lessons, and then we're going to end on another incredible video that I just know is going to pump the hell out of you. All right, here we go. Let me know what you think of this in the comments as we're going along, because I can still see those, and I can still answer them via text. Obviously, you won't see me on the screen. Here we go. Enjoy.
What's interesting about fear and excuses is if you reverse engineer them backward to the seed of where it's coming from, it means that a stunning majority of the people in this audience are actually tied up in caring about somebody else's point of view on them. And I'm really fascinated by that. Fear's holding you back. You know what you want to do. The only reason you're not doing it is because you're scared of doing what you actually want to do. So what are you scared of, failing?
Not failing, but still being at the same place when my friends are at the next level.
Huge mistake. You don't want the same thing your friends want. So why do you care what they have? Number one mistake so many people make is they care about what other people have. I don't care what anybody has. If I have more, if I have less, doesn't matter. I worry about myself. The fact that you're worrying about other people's accomplishments is already a losing formula. You need to get rid of that first, then you can focus on yourself. I would argue that well more than 50% of the people in this audience are here today because they worry about the way they would be judged by 1 and/or 2 family members in their inner 7, 8 people circle. If you're not feeling it, find new friends. I'm being dead serious about this. This one is real big for me. Who you hang out with is a huge deal. And again, these are all tried and true things, right? We've heard you're the whatever of the 5 friends you spent, like that's real. Add 1 new winner friend. Like, you know what I mean? Add 1 new winner friend and cut 1 loser friend. Like, yeah, I know he's been your boy since 4th grade, but he sits at home and smokes weed and plays 2K all day. Like, you can only love him so much. And to me, that is the most fascinating thing that's happening as I'm going through my journey, which is, the reason I am capable and have the luxury of standing up here is that my parents parented me in a way that gave me so much self-esteem while respect. When I was 9 years old and opened the door for an elderly woman at a McDonald's, she reacted as if I won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Good mom.
What my mom did was super smart. She overreacted on everything that I was doing. That was a good human trait. My mom built huge self-esteem in me, and I feel like the biggest reason I am who I am today to everybody is because I feel so guilty and so grateful for what she did for me that I want to do it for everybody else, which is, guess what? You suck at a ton of good. So does everybody else. You're also probably pretty rad at something. Try as many things as possible until you figure out what you're rad at and you like, and go do that for the rest of your life and stop giving about everybody else. There's just an incredible, like kind of access point of like what you're great at and what you love. When you stumble into being somebody like me, you really win. When what you're naturally great at is what you naturally love the most, and away you go. And so I think what you need to do is taste everything. It's kind of like food. You don't know what your favorite food is if you only eat one food. So I would take advantage of your youth and your flexibility at this kind of age and try to taste everything, play with everything, figure out what you might be good at, what you might like, and then you make a decision. It's a very fine balance. I don't stand up here not giving a about what people think about me. It's just that I care just a little more about what I think about myself than everybody else combined. And I just think a lot of people are crippled by going on the offense because we are sold defense. We are sold defense. We just are. Offense is always the best defense. Offense always solves problems as long as your defense is not a complete disaster. So I just think offense is a very good mentality. There is a trigger mindset. I'm always trying to stay on offense.
I always say I hear from everybody who wins. You know, I think the fear of losing trumps the excitement of victory for so many people. I think people are so scared. Nobody wants the rejection. Nobody wants to lose. So I understand the philosophy. I understand that string of DNA that doesn't want to make you lose. But I'm so desperate to figure out how to convince people that there is no loss in going for it. That, yeah, you might get made fun of and you might have it in your own mind, but trying to figure out how to make people drop that fear of going and building a business for themselves in 2012. Trying to figure out how to make a video or give a talk or send a tweet or write a book, just something that makes people understand that executing the way it always is going to lead you to a place where you're not going to win.
Life's funny, bro. And I think that a lot of people are sitting here for another reason in those two: fear, judgment of others. And this one's I'm obsessed with if you're following me. And I just think most of you lack patience. I tell these 23-year-olds, 26-year-olds all the time to be patient because they should. How old are you?
44.
I'm 40. Do you know how young we feel? When you were 26, did you ever think that this is what 44 felt like?
No.
You thought that was finished?
Yeah.
Like, you think a 40-year-old, like, when I was 25 years old, I thought a 40-year-old was finished. I don't even feel like I'm starting. It's a balance of regret and patience. Like, you can go hard for 3 years, do nothing right, wake up, and be young. You should really go to a retirement home one day and volunteer and just talk to them. It will make you want to do every minute of your life, because when you see regret in a man's eyes, it's painful because you can't do about it. When you're 90 and you're not mobile and you're tired and it's over, you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't build that company you wanted. You can't spend that time with your kid. It's regret. And it drives the shit out of me. I think that patience has been the disproportionate component of my success.
So what should we do, Gary Vee? Let's wrap this up.
Yeah,
what should we
wrap it
do? What should people do?
People should stop complaining.
Right.
People should figure out who they are.
Good call.
People should not listen to America propaganda of fixing the they suck at. They should be tripling down on what they're good at. They should be competent in certain areas, but you're not gonna become Beyonce, or like your bone structure is a certain way. Like, you're not gonna solve everything. Your IQ can get a little bit better, but don't worry about the incremental. Figure out what puts you on fire and you're halfway decent at. If you're lucky enough right now to be listening and you're good at what you like, become tunnel vision. Because there's way too many voices telling you what and how. And here's the other thing, and this is the big one, Joe. Have the conversation with the person that's holding you back. The reason most people who are listening right now are not doing that thing is they're worried about the opinion of somebody, usually their mother, usually their father. And the reality is that your spouse may be the person holding you back, and you have to have that conversation.
Cut them off.
We have to get to a place where you're doing you, because the number one thing that scares out of me is regret. And you're gonna sit there at 72 and you're gonna say, I wish. And whether that's money or spend more time with your family, there's a million ways to do this. Not everybody wants to buy the jets. Not everybody wants to smoke weed on the beach in Bahamas. Like, everybody's got a different thing. Figure out what your thing is and stop making excuses. Who the president is, your mom did this, like I missed it, I had that idea for Uber. Then why didn't you do it? There's a reason that guys and gals like me continue to have audiences, because people want to be motivated to go and do things, or they want to learn tactics to go and do things. But whether I'm giving you tactical advice like filters on Snapchat or Facebook ads or Instagram story collaborations, or I'm motivating you through my words because I communicate that way, or through my actions, seeing this wake up at 5, work with it. If everybody who's watching this actually did something about it and then went on the course of their version of it, then they wouldn't be watching this. And I genuinely know at the bottom of my heart, out of all the people that want to build audiences, that I'm the complete opposite of almost all of them. Because 99% of people that produce content like this and are out there like I am, the business of being that is what they are. I have businesses. I have Wine Library and VaynerMedia. I don't need your $14 for my book or to be in my course or this and that. So I don't need to monetize you. So I then genuinely want you to never watch me again. The problem is, every time you guys are posting, do you know how many times I see on my Instagram, oh, I needed this today? And do you know how many times I see that person 9 months later still hanging around? If you needed it, then take it and do something about it. The reason there's gonna be 1 billion motivational views today on YouTube is that people love the feeling of being motivated. They don't like putting in the work to do something about the feeling. I hate the motivation me until you do something about it.
Oh, powerful, isn't it? And it is time. It's like it says at the end there, it is time. Some massively, massively important lessons that Gary speaks about in there. And I'm going to share with you some of the lessons, well, 3 of the top lessons that I have learned myself in 2017. Really just through living life and trying to incorporate some of the things, like, you know, some of the things that Gary was saying there. Rebecca says, wow, it's good, isn't it? It's top bloke, Gary. Really, really good. It's helped me a lot in business. And really just, you know, an awful lot again with, you know, with kind of mindset and just going for stuff. Check him out. Follow him at Gary V, V-E-E, Gary V-E-E. Let me put these slides up again, and we're going to go through these 3 lessons that I think are super, super important. And then I want to know your opinions on them and what you've learned as well. And then if we've got time, I'm definitely going to play you some more video at the end of this broadcast as well. So do stick around for that if you enjoyed that, because I'm even more powerful to play you at the end of this. So there you go. For those in the audio experience, I will read you the slides again. So it says, see, told you it was powerful. Let's take a look at the 3 main lessons 2017 has taught me. Lesson number 1. Can anybody guess what it is? We've probably covered it in other Periscope broadcasts and Facebook broadcasts and Twitter stuff and all this kind of thing, but it's just, this is probably the number 1 thing that I have learned this year, both in my own life and also seeing this in other people's lives as well. I see this more than ever today, and that is number 1, focusing on other people's accomplishments is the fastest way to lose. Focusing on other people's accomplishments is the fastest way to lose. And I tell you, this is particularly prevalent for anybody in here who is an actor or is a singer or is any kind of artist, anything to do with the arts whatsoever, or you know what, just a human being, because you can apply this to so many other areas of life as well. And I'm going to be super honest with you guys tonight. At times this year, 100%, I will hold my hands up, right? I have been guilty of looking around me and seeing others achieving what I have perceived, all right? This is all perception. What I have perceived as more than me, okay? And this has probably been in all areas of my life. And give me some some hearts or some comments if you felt this yourself, right? In my career, actors landing big jobs, okay? I've landed a few big jobs myself this year, but it's all relative, innit? When you land a big job and then someone else lands a bigger job, you still feel what you felt when you had no job and someone had any job, okay? In my personal life, friends getting married, you know, having kids. You know, I ain't been doing that this year. In business, people growing their businesses quicker than me, all right? And let me tell you right now, spending any time, though, this is just what I have learned, and the hard way sometimes, because I'm not perfect at this, but spending any time focusing on other people's achievements is just 100% a losing strategy. You will already have lost if you spend anything more than a fleeting moment on this, all right? Like literally a 5-second rule. I give myself a 5-second rule, okay? Every minute you spend focusing on other people is a minute you waste that could be spent focusing on yourself. Karen says, agreed. And it's not easy by any means. This is like really, really hard sometimes. But in 2017, I've tried this literally since January. I try to use these feelings of envy, because let's be honest with ourselves, that's what it is. When somebody else has something you want, you feel envious, all right? People, you can call it jealousy if you want, but it's, it's envy, jealousy, whatever it is, whatever you want to term it. And a lot of people think that is a negative emotion that we should not feel, we should repress. It's a bad thing, the green-eyed monster. It's not actually. It can be a massive motivator in your life if you do not let it suffocate you. Okay, you can use envy as a compass, and I've tried to do this. When I felt that feeling in the pit of my stomach of like, oh God, someone's just got that thing that I want, I've gone, you know what, that is just backing up my what I want. That's backing up, my intuition telling me I should be going for this thing because I've just seen someone else get it, and yes, it's crushed me a little bit, but it actually means that I'm on the right path, because if I feel like this, that means I must really want it. People will have achieved shitloads of stuff today. They'll have got Nobel Peace Prizes. They'll have, been celebrating, I don't know, some kind of stock market thing, something completely unrelated to anything we're anything to do with. I don't give a shit about any of that. They could become the most successful in the world at designing iPhones. I'm not bothered by that. I don't feel envious of anyone achieving anything that. Thus, I know that ain't where I want to go down. I don't want to go down that route. When I see someone achieving something in the arts, in the arts industry, in films, in online business, social marketing, stuff like that, and I go, oh God, I feel that. That would be something I would love to achieve. Then that envy is actually very, very useful, because it means that I'm actually on the right path to what I really want. And let's be honest, I put on the slide here, we don't all want the same stuff. So I don't focus on other people's stuff, because a lot of the time, you might be focusing on that guy who owns this other company. Nothing to do with acting. Most people are actors on this. And yes, he might be very, very wealthy or whatever, and you're still focusing on him and his stuff and what he's got and how much richer he is than you and how much more successful he is than you or whatever, or her, whoever it is. But ultimately, you've got to remind yourself, you don't want that stuff. So why are you focusing on it? Instead, get your head down and go and get your own stuff. Ultimately, there's a shed load of it out there, and it's just waiting for you if you focus on yourself and stop wasting minutes, hours, or days focusing on what you don't have and what other people do. Agree? People are saying, yeah, the hearts are coming through. Charlotte Peake has joined on Facebook. Good to see you. But it's been a massive lesson of mine this year. It really has. It's just been huge. And I'm just like, there's people around me in this industry who have been, rewarded with all kinds of things, from parts to awards to this, that, and the other. And honest to God, there is just no rhyme or reason behind it. Everyone is different, has been awarded things at different times in their lives for different kinds of jobs. And you can't specifically reverse engineer that. You can't say, this person was awarded with a BAFTA nomination, thus, this is what I have to do to get a BAFTA nomination. You just can't. You've just got to be patient. Like Gary said in that video, be patient, show up, do good work. Don't focus on whatever they've got. Focus on yourself and work towards what you want. Anything else will guarantee you lose. Okay, so that's lesson number 1 that I wanted to share with you. I learned to actually acknowledge my own achievements this year and pat myself on the back. Says Kim, absolutely, you've got to look at what you've done. So many people in here will feel they've done nothing this year. Please, I assure you, if you wrote it all down and you frame it positively, you've achieved a shitload of stuff this year. But what you'll want to do is rob yourself of achievement, because you'll want to say, oh, I only did this. I only did that. Oh, I attempted this, but it didn't work out. Don't worry about the fact it didn't work out. You did something that 99% of people probably wouldn't even do. You attempted something. Most people will sit on their backsides slagging anyone else off who does try and achieve something, because it makes them feel better about themselves not doing anything. They go, see, I told you that person wasn't going to do very well. Oh, thank God I didn't waste my time doing that. I don't know if they'd have tried it. Maybe it would have worked. But it's a lot easier to sit there slating stuff than getting up and attempting stuff. So, Kim, always give yourself a pat on the back. Having people talk without gratitude for what they have, says Rebecca. Gratitude's massive. Massive, massive, massive. We're going about it all the time. Lesson number 2. God, this has been like ridiculously prevalent. So ridiculously prevalent. Stop waiting for permission to start. I've censored it, but I've put effing start on the screen because this is something I'm just mega passionate about. Stop waiting for permission. I know everyone in here. I can probably guarantee all of you, and I include myself in this to a certain degree. This year has been some things that I have pondered over for a little too long when I just should have started them. This year, I've probably had anywhere between 5 and 25 emails per week from actors who are looking for permission to start something. And it goes like this. This is how this goes. I could show you, and I won't, but I could show you countless examples of the emails I've had. People will email me, and they'll be asking a question. They'll be dressing this email up in a question, right? It's something about the acts industry, agents, casting directors, voiceover, or just life, And what they do is they ask this question, and then it's hilarious. They then proceed to write another paragraph after they've asked this question. And this preceding paragraph answers the question they have just asked me, right? They actually know the answer to what they have asked. But actually what they don't know, or what they're subconsciously doing, is they are simply looking for permission to start. They want me to say, yes, Dave, Kevin, whoever you are, that's a great idea. You should definitely write that short film. You should definitely write to that casting director. You should definitely write to that agent. You should definitely put on that show, whatever it is. And it's because they're probably not getting permission from their family. Maybe their parents aren't around or aren't supporting them, or their spouse isn't, or no one believes in whatever they believe in quite as much as they do. And they're just desperate for someone, anybody, to give them permission to start working on actually what they want from life. And you don't need permission from anybody but yourself to start. If you're an actor, you don't need ITV, BBC, Channel 4 to give you permission to act. Tony, whatever, and Gina's in Canada at the moment, but whoever's abroad, whoever your networks are, you don't need their permission. ABC, NBC, whatever you've got over there, you don't need their permission to act, okay? You don't need, if you're in the UK, the National Theatre to give you permission to write a play. You just need to write a play, okay? A close friend of mine, and I've mentioned her many times over the last couple of months, wrote, raised money for, shot, starred in, edited and submitted to film festivals as short film this year. It's taken about 14 months. It is now likely to win her an Oscar nomination. She's on the shortlist of the top 10 films that will soon be shortlisted even further to 5 that will get an Oscar nomination. I've seen this film. It's incredible. It was done on a 10 grand budget. She wrote it herself. The team's worked so hard behind it. A tiny, tiny little team of people who ultimately are not experienced, don't know everything about what they're doing. And it's now going to get her, I think, and I cross my fingers for this, an Oscar nomination, which is just mental. She didn't ask permission of anybody to do this. Do I need permission to write a screenplay? Do I need permission to raise money? And if she'd have listened to the naysayers who were all like, this isn't going to work, don't bother, I've tried it and it failed, she would never have started, would never have done it. And now it's going to get the highest accolade, potentially, that our industry has, which is insane. No permission required. So you don't need permission from anybody to start. Congratulations, says Kim. I finally started putting into motion organisation for my film. Amazing. And you don't know where that's going to take you. You know, literally, this girl, it's crazy what the word Oscar does to people in terms of the association people have with it, and then how much opportunity this is already opening up for her. You know, and she's no more kind of special than she was a year ago. This isn't something that's esoteric and is like, oh, she's become something else. She hasn't. She's always had it in her. She just believed in herself a little bit more and pushed herself to start. She only needed permission from herself. And no one on this planet, let me tell you this, is immune to self-doubt. You're all going to have doubts around these things that you're going to push yourself for. But developing the habit of hesitancy will kill your dreams. And this is this thing about this 5-second rule that I have. I had doubts about starting my weekly vlog. That's now up to episode 13, came out this morning. And I was like, what are people going to think of this? What would industry people think of this? Are people going to frown on it? Will people think I'm narcissistic as fuck and weird because I have someone following me around with the camera? Yes, it's not as a big deal as you know, writing a film and submitting it to all these festivals, but it was still a big deal in terms of time commitment, financial commitment, and ultimately putting yourself out there, and I guess a bit of your brand and your reputation on the line. And I contemplated these things for literally 5 seconds, and I just said, F it. I don't need permission from anybody but myself, and it's been the best thing I've ever done for my personal brand. It just has. I've had more people contact me through that and seeing me through that, people in and out of the acting industry, than I've ever had for doing anything else. So it was the right decision to make, regardless of whether people like it or not, or, you're not going to please everybody. But it's pleasing a lot of people, and it makes me very happy because it's creative, and we have so much fun filming it, and I hope you have fun watching it. But I doubted myself as well. But you just can't nurture the habit of hesitancy because it'll just screw you up so much. So that's lesson number 2. You don't need permission from anybody but yourself. You just start, okay? Lesson number 3, and this is like what Gary was talking about a little bit in there, and this has hit home really, this week quite heavily as well. This really is it. Like, you do only get one at-bat. This is literally all we have, people. And you need to appreciate this, okay? I've seen good people around me lose lives this year. Literally, and really good people who had done nothing to deserve illnesses that they had got. They'd looked after their bodies, and they were dealt this thing that they couldn't control. And there's one girl this week who works with me on the Ads on This TV interviews that I do, whose mum died Friday night. This really is it. We've got to stop living like we've got all the time in the world, because we really haven't, okay? But equally, I don't want everybody to worry about death and go, oh my goodness, like time's running out. We just got to realize the lesson in this and in mortality is that 99% of the things that you are currently worrying about don't effing matter. They just don't. It's way too easy to focus on dumb shit. Just rubbish. It really is. And it's hard to remind yourself of that at times. And I'm not taking away anything that's happened to you this year that might have been traumatic or hurtful or whatever, and has harmed you in some way. But I reckon 99% of it probably didn't need to be as hurtful as you allowed it to be. And we also need to remember that nothing material on this earth will make us truly happy, all right? The invisible gifts that we hold in our hearts and our souls and how we impact other people are the things that ultimately do make us happy. And they're the things that put life into perspective, not whether you've got X amount in the bank, cars, houses, acting gigs, BAFTAs, Oscars, whatever. You're still going to wake up with the same problems or similar problems that you had yesterday, even if you've got BAFTAs lying in your mantelpiece. They're not going to suddenly take everything away from you. When you stop expecting and start appreciating what you already have, we've said this so many times this year on these broadcasts, something magical just happens in that moment. And what you have is never as important as simply doing great work. I've learned that this year as well. It doesn't matter. When I first launched episode 1 on my vlog, it's a bit like, I keep talking about this, like, it was a big deal for me because it was a big investment in lots of areas of my life. I definitely had some worries or some expectations of subscriber numbers, viewer numbers. What happens if only 10 people watch it on day one? What if it gets no traction, goes nowhere? What if people don't like it? I had to absolutely stop expecting stuff and just start appreciating that I had the opportunity to do this. And when you do stop expecting, you start appreciating, good things just begin to happen. And like I say, just getting up every morning and doing great work is way more important than having any amount of subscribers, any amount of viewers, any amount of whatever. As long as the work you're putting out there is good, you're winning, okay? Winning a BAFTA is not as important as creating a great play or a film that might only impact a dozen people. If it impacts a dozen people, that's like 12 people's lives you could have impacted at the very core. It doesn't matter you've not been given a statue or a piece of metal, to go, well done for creating that. You don't need that for validation. And I put there, each 24 hours belongs to you. And what you focus on in the next 24 hours, particularly the next week, we're ending 2017. Every day you've got 24 hours. what you focus on in those 24 hours will take you to the place where you will be tomorrow. And you absolutely have a choice of the direction that you head yourself in. And you can choose to look at everything that's happened to you this year as negative and everything that 2017 has robbed you of. And I have already seen the posts going out on Facebook from people in my network who are like, cannot wait to see the back of 2017. Good riddance 2017. You brought nothing but hell 2017. You know this girl who lost her mum on Friday? All of her posts since Friday have been so full of love and have been positive and have been like so positive. And like, you know, her family's rallied round and, you know, and they're all determined to, you know, to really celebrate this Christmas as opposed to just let it rob them. Because it could do, you know what? And then they've just lost twice. She's lost her mum and then she loses again. So you can look at everything 2017's robbed you of and spend the next 24 hours focusing on that, which is going to take you to a shit destination tomorrow. Or you can actually focus on what 2017's brought you, focus on that, and it's going to take you to a far better destination tomorrow. On your final day, you won't want your cars, houses, or your money. You'll literally want your friends, family, and loved ones. So focus on those more. They're way more important than your career. They just are. I've seen that many, many times this year. So they're my 3 lessons. I want to end on this quote, and then I'm going to play you this video. It's going to take us about 10:05. This video is about 25 minutes long. But I think you're going to love it. This quote is great. It's by Chico Xavier, and I have no bloody idea who Chico Xavier is. Maybe you can look him up after this broadcast. He said this: though nobody can go back and make a new beginning, anyone can start over and make a new ending. And 2017, you know, you can't go back and make a new beginning on. It's done. We've got like, what have we got? Like 13 days of it left. Over. Less than 2 weeks and it's gone out of your life forever. You can start over and make a new ending in 2018. So I hope that's kind of helped you be a little bit more reflective and motivated for what's going to happen in 2018. I'll bring up these 3 lesson headlines again. 1, focusing on other people's accomplishments is the fastest way to lose. 2, stop waiting for permission to start. Just effing start. And 3, this really is it. You only get one at bat. So I'll jump on camera for a second. You can let me know what you think. And I'm going to play you, a 25-minute video that features a lot of people that I've followed this year, mentors of mine, people I've met, people I haven't met, people I've interacted with online. But it'll hopefully just give you that little extra kick to go into the next week, not sleepwalking into Christmas and winding down and you know, and just... I hope, you know, waiting for 2017 to be over. It'll hopefully get you in a state where you actually start gearing up for 2018 and you can't wait for it to arrive. What was your favourite lesson out of the 3? Anyone got a favourite, or has anyone got a lesson that they've learnt this year that they want to share before I play this video? Anything that's been like super apparent to you where you're like, you know what, that's been a theme in my life this year. It might not have been easy, but I've learnt a shed load from it. Because we've all... like 2017 is going to give us all so many lessons in life. Let's have a look if anyone's got any. Write them up now. I'll give you 30 seconds and then I'm going to start this this video off. Definitely 3, says Tony. Yeah, 1 at bat. This is it, Tony. That's the one that resonated the most with him. 1 at bat, man. Don't procrastinate, says Karen. It ties into 1 at bat as well. Just start and realize that is it. Literally, you know, for many people, like I say, 2017 is the last year they ever spent on this earth. Let's not like wish our lives away and just want to see the back of it. Let's learn from it, and you know, make progress in 2018. Steve just said something not a joke. He said, "Joking aside, don't be scared of anything." Steve, I think that's the first serious comment you think you've ever left on a broadcast in 2017. So I'd like to congratulate you for that. See, he's changing, guys. We've changed him. John says, "I'm climbing up the acting industry." Patience, John. Deploy patience, man. It's you know, time's gonna pass anyway. Deploy patience. Spend it doing what you want to do. So here's this second video. Again, I won't be able to speak to you whilst this is on. It's 25 minutes long. Let's see if people stay on for the entirety because it's gonna take us past 10 o'clock now. It's gonna take us to like nearly 10 past 10. If you've got to go, you've got to go. But have a look at this. I was gonna make a joke about you not seeing others, but that would be in bad taste. What's that, Bobby? Normal service will be resumed shortly, says Steve. Right, here's this. This is from a friend of mine. I've mentioned him many times. Navid. He's a guy who runs a channel called Absolute Motivation. Does some of the most incredible mix-ups, mash-ups, whatever you want to call them, of some of the most inspirational, motivational, and successful people in the world talking about success and life. Great thing to listen to if you're on the way to the gym in the morning. I often will put one of these motivational videos on to gain some external motivation that just helps you fire up the internal motivation that you need inside. This is a mashup of lots of successful people talking about success. There will be copyrighted stuff in this, so I hope me broadcasting this is not going to suddenly get cut off by Twitter or Facebook. If the feed goes down, guys, just know I love you all. Merry Christmas and all that. But hopefully it won't, and I will get to come on at the end of this just to say goodbye. So here's this video. Lie back, watch it, reflect, listen, leave some comments as it's going on, and I'll see you in 25 minutes if you're still around. Bye for 25 minutes.
You can know what you want, you can know what you should be doing, but how do you make yourself do it when the feelings and the motivation isn't there? When all you got is fear? And so we make decisions with feelings. 95% of our decisions are made by how you feel in the moment. And that is the problem. You need to take control of the moment and leverage the power of your decisions and make them up here. Do you feel like making that cold call? No, you don't. Do you feel like doing that third set of reps? No, you don't. Do you feel like having that hard conversation? No, you don't. Do you feel like ending this relationship, whether it's in business or in your life, that is sucking you dry? No, you don't. We make decisions based on our feelings, and that is robbing you of joy and opportunity. And it is blinding you from the fact that how you change your life is one 5-second decision at a time. One push at a time. And if you accept the fact that you may never feel ready, and you may never feel motivated, and you may never feel confident, you may never feel courageous, and that's okay, but you can still push yourself forward. What happens over time is, as you start to see yourself becoming the person that takes action, you start to see yourself becoming the kind of person that speaks even though your voice is shaking. You're the kind of person that has a bias toward moving instead of a bias toward thinking. Guess what happens? You build the skill of confidence and courage. There's a 5-second window between the instincts, the shoulds, the urges, the inner wisdom, the things that can change your life if you listen to it. You've got a 5-second window from the moment you feel that instinct to move. And if you don't, your brain is actually designed to kill it. 5 seconds is all you have. The second you hesitate, and you feel yourself hesitating, that is a moment of huge power, because what's happened is you've just started to pull back from something that you need to lean into. So when you feel yourself hesitate, you're triggering your mind that something's up. Like Lewis didn't hesitate when he pulled on his pants, he didn't hesitate when he's drinking his coffee, he didn't hesitate when he walked out the door to the gym, but now he's hesitating to make that call. Your mind now goes into a cognitive bias called the spotlight effect. It magnifies whatever it was that you hesitated doing. And the moment, like all of a sudden you're like, hey, I don't feel like it, like I don't know, maybe I'll do it later. And your mind is doing it because your mind's trying to protect you. Hesitation signals a red flag to your mind that something's up. Just that small hesitation. It's a habit that we all have. Should you hesitate on making a phone call? No. Should you hesitate on speaking up in a meeting? No. Should you hesitate when you feel yourself starting to procrastinate and you know you got work that you should get done? No, you shouldn't hesitate at all. Should you hesitate in saying the thing that you really feel in your heart? No, you shouldn't. Should you hesitate and edit yourself when you're talking? No, you shouldn't. But we've all trained ourselves to. So it's actually this habit of hesitating. You start catching yourself. It's a huge moment of power because you have a decision to make, and you got to make it in the next 5 seconds. Are you going to go on autopilot and get trapped in your mind? Or are you going to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and awaken your prefrontal cortex and drive forward?
Success does not come from making a few major important decisions correctly, and in fact it's very much the opposite. The truth is, success happens when you make the smallest, seemingly easiest, apparently most insignificant decisions correctly, consistently, every day for a long time. Let me give you an example. If you have a burger today, you won't be unhealthy tomorrow. And in the moment, having one burger won't seem to matter. In fact, it doesn't really matter. And if you have a burger every single day this week, you probably still won't be unhealthy. But in a year's time, after eating a burger every single day, you'll be a burger. And we all make thousands of tiny decisions every single day, and these small decisions seem like they don't matter, but in fact, they are all that matters. And these small decisions compound over time to define who you are right now. And you are, right now, a product of the billions of unimportant, tiny decisions you have made in your life. And this idea is called the slight edge. And right now, when it comes to your health, finances, career, everything, the slight edge is either working for you or against you. And you'll find out in a year. And although it sounds simple to take control of these small, easy decisions, the reality is things that are easy to do are also very easy not to do. And for me, the way to take control is to have a very clear vision of who you want to be 1 year from now, 2 years from now, and ask yourself in the moment, is this decision, browsing Instagram for hours, eating McDonald's, partying, going to move me closer to that person or further away? And you have to have faith that there's something always working in the background for all of us right now that we cannot see.
We think in the short term, like, I'm not getting enough attention, I'm not being appreciated, I'm not getting paid enough. We think about all these minor concerns because we're worried it's going to hurt us in the long term. And really, that's just distracting us from doing the work that is ultimately the only reason anyone is remembered for anything. Yeah. What matters is, did you make something that stands the test of time, and did you keep working at it past when everyone else would have given up and said, like, it's on to the next thing, or, I'll do this other thing because I can make more money or whatever. Like, you've gotta stay at it and stay at it and stay at it long past whenever the ego gets bored. You always want to be the harshest critic of your own work, right? Like, is this good enough? Am I saying something new enough? Is this original enough? And am I pushing myself to be real and vulnerable and honest? Like, when James Altucher says you got to say the thing that you're afraid to say, no one else can hold you to that stand. Like, no one else can be like, oh, you're afraid to say that, because only you know what you're afraid of.
The truth is that you're never going to feel ready to make these changes. You're never going to feel like doing them, but you can always make a decision. That's always in your control. Staying with somebody that treats you like garbage is a decision. It is. Staying at a job that you hate is a decision. Staying in the body that you are not proud of is a decision. Is it going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy to change. It's simple. Do a Google search and then use the 5-second rule to force yourself to do that stuff. Change comes down to 5-second decisions, and this is why the 5-second rule is important for everybody to know. It's your job to push yourself. And I don't care if you're Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., or you're Michelangelo, or you're Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote Hamilton, you will struggle with self-doubt. And everybody that you admire, everybody, and the list is the same for everybody. Oh, Oprah Winfrey, and I want to be like, Tom, and I want to be like, Branson, and I want to be like Jay-Z, and I want, like, everybody's list is this, Bill Gates, and do you know what those people do? They do not have the habit of hesitating. They trust themselves. None of us wake up and say, today is the day I destroy my life. What we do is we kind of check out because it feels overwhelming. Or we check out because we're afraid. Or we check out because we start listening to self-doubt. And then we make these teeny tiny decisions all day long. And we don't even realize it. Decision to not get up on time, a decision to not eat the right thing, a decision to snap at your kids, a decision to not speak in a meeting, a decision to not look for a job, a decision to not deal with your finances, a decision to not call your parents, like whatever it is. All day long, these tiny decisions that take you so far off track. And then you wake up like I did and you look at your life and you think, how the hell did I get here?
Success and failure does not happen in the moment. Everything is bleeding into everything else. So the bad decisions that you make today have a ripple effect that can last for weeks or months, okay? Let me give an explanation. Let's say that you fail to manage your time and you go to bed late. You get a bad sleep. Right off the bat, maybe you can catch a cold from that or you can get sick. then you can't get the things done that you wanted to get done because you had a cold or you're sick, or maybe you fuck up a social relationship. Then what happens is maybe you fuck up something with your work that creates some kind of financial problem. Unless you were born in a situation with a lot of opportunity, everything is gonna be tough, okay? Again, unless you were born in a situation where you have a lot of opportunity because your parents had money and raised you well, everything is just gonna be fucking tough. Where's the other choice? When you're at that point, what are your decisions? Let's stop and think about this. A, you're born into success. If you're born into success, lucky for you. Just follow the beaten path that your parents laid out for you, and you could probably be successful. But what happens if you weren't born into success? Pretty much, you're gonna have to fucking crawl through the shit for years and years and try to enjoy it as you do it and make something out of it. That's pretty much the decision. Or you can just stay in the shit. At a certain point, what you have to do is you have to look at your life and you have to say, do I accept this or do I not accept it? Okay, you have to look at that. And you have to make a decision. So look at your life. Now ask yourself, what direction is my life going in? Like, if I look at what I'm doing right now, what direction is this gonna lead me in? Like, there's no future where it's gonna get any easier. Do you guys get that? It's not gonna get easier. In fact, generally speaking, there's no this, okay? It doesn't stay the same. You're either going a little bit up, you're going fast up, you're going a little bit down, or you're going fast down.
Shitty things are going to happen to you if they haven't already, and I'm sure they have. Many tragedies have befallen every person in this room. And what I want you guys to recognize right now is thank God. Because those are the things that weed out the sick and the weak. Those are the things that weed out the people who they don't have the fortitude to see it through. And I'm here to tell you that something is the ability to endure. My ability to handle suffering, my ability to keep going when something is boring, my ability to learn a new skill long after everybody else has gotten over it and gotten bored and they are no longer interested. All I can see is its utility. And in seeing its utility and becoming obsessed with what that thing is going to allow me to do, I endure. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how painful it is, if it lives in service of my goals, I do it. And that was the one thing nobody could see. That was the one thing when I was a kid nobody could understand. The questions you ask yourself will determine the course of your life. I had been asking myself, what do I need to do to get rich? And it left me really unhappy. So I changed the question, and I started asking, what would I do and love every day, even if I were failing? The second law of thermodynamics is that everything moves towards entropy. Life is chaos. It takes an inhuman amount of effort to bring order to that, to find success in the middle of that. So while I cannot promise you success, I can promise you failure. I cannot promise you happiness, but I can promise sadness. So if you know those are the guarantees and the other things are the things that you have to strive for, you better be striving in service of something that in and of itself is interesting to you.
And so I was going through, I was just going through the motions of continuing to climb the ladder. And there were these guys who I really aspired to be like, and I had this whole plan laid out for myself, right? I was going to be a vice president by age 32, a senior vice president by age 35, a C-level executive by age 40, and then you're set, right? But as I climbed this ladder, I got closer to these guys and realized that many of them were kind of miserable. Yeah, they were on their third marriage. My boss had his second heart attack. I worked with a guy who was 30 years old. He was 3 years older than me, who had his first heart attack at age 30. And so, of course, what I tell myself, but I'll be different, right? I'm not going to be like those guys. But if you follow the same recipe, you're going to get the same pie that they've baked. And so I realized, you know what? I need to make some changes, but I don't know what. And then I realized I was so focused on so-called success and achievement and especially on the accumulation of stuff, the trophies of success. Like, look at me, I have 2 Lexuses, and I have this, I have that, I have the bigger house, and
the golf membership or whatever.
Yeah, the racket club membership.
There
actually.
You go.
Yeah. and so I had these things, and here's the thing I want to get across. So there's nothing inherently wrong with stuff. We all need some stuff. The problem isn't consumption. The problem is this compulsory consumption, buying things because that's what we think we're supposed to do. We've been sold this meme of the American dream. If you get this, then you will be happy, as if there is a template for happiness. And in fact, I think that's one of the bigger problems is we are chasing happiness. And for the longest time, that's what I did. I chased happiness.
Whenever we have our highest experiences of life, 2 things are involved. Some form of growth within ourselves and some form of contribution beyond ourselves. Yeah. I could ask 100 people, as I've done this with thousands, and they always tell me something where they faced the fear, overcame something, but also in doing it, it benefited their family or benefited somebody else, or like what you did with the building. Whenever I ask people the worst experiences of their life, they will tell me something, and it was all about them. Life's not about me, it's about we. And that's also why when people are suffering, it's always because you're obsessing about yourself. You're obsessing that something happened and now you have less. You think you have less. Right. Or something happened and you've lost something, lost love, lost money, lost significance, lost attention, lost something. Or because you did this or said that, or because I did something myself, I'm never gonna have something. Lost, less, never are the sources of suffering. When you get that all suffering is obsession with self, you can snap out of it, and all you have to do is stop expecting and start appreciating. You look around and appreciate things outside yourself, the people around you, your friends sitting across here, anything of that nature, and then starting to enjoy something. If you start to learn or grow from that, if you love, which to me is an action, if you love, if you give, if you're grateful, suffering disappears instantly. But you have to tell yourself the truth. The only suffering is in your mind. It's because this brain is not designed to make you happy. It's 2 million years old. It's designed to make you survive.
Trying to actually be grateful for what you have, things that you would have killed like a year earlier to have, as soon as you have them, all of a sudden you think about how they could be better. And I think you've written about this a lot, but gratitude is incredibly important, not just because it's what you owe other people, but it makes you appreciate what you have versus focusing on what you could have or don't have, which are egotistical things and also recipes for misery. Mm-hmm. I have a chapter in the book. There's this famous speech from John Boyd, and he would say this to every one of his young proteges. He would say, "To do or to be, being promoted and rising to responsibility and power." And being recognized is not the same and is not as important as doing great work and affecting change behind the scenes. So it's like we become so obsessed with, being promoted or being recognized or getting credit. Right. It's like people would rather be a bestseller than write an amazing book.
You got to figure out where you want to be this year, for the next 12 months. Figure out where you want to be and what you'd like to build for the future. So if you're not thinking about why you're doing something for this year and how it's going to support you for the coming years, then you're missing the point. You're always going to have to figure some new vision out every single year. So otherwise you're just doing random things and getting frustrated because you feel like you have no sense of purpose if you don't have a vision. So you're just randomly going through life if you don't have a vision. So again, a life without purpose is setting you up for a life of unfulfillment.
If you're living in a community and the resources aren't there, I challenge you to get on the bus and go to the library on the other side of town. I challenge you to go and learn the Handel's Messiah. I challenge you, to pick up a piano, to pick up a violin. I challenge you to not accept the life that's been given to you. Just because somebody gave you that life, that does not have to become your reality. I challenge you to go outside of your immediate environment, and I challenge you to explore. I challenge you to discover. I challenge you to learn a second language. I challenge you to watch PBS, NPR radio. I challenge you to get out of just that world that you've been given. I challenge you to read books, to learn the history of this company. Like, I challenge you to be bigger, bolder, and better 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And some of the people that we admire are people who have been exposed to things that other people haven't been exposed to. I think what people get confused is, you know, they're grinding with a goal. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have goals, but you should be grinding for grinding's sake. You know, you should grind because that's what you do. You're passionate about what you do, you know, and so you're waking up every day with this concept of, I have 24 hours. And they're mine. This 24 hours belongs to me. And whatever I do in this 24 hours will determine where I'll be tomorrow and the next day. And I think that's what people need to focus on. Like, get off of this, I want to make 6 figures. I want to drive this car. I want to live in this house. I think what people should be focusing on is, I have 24 hours. Like, Oprah only has 24. Bill Gates only has 24. Like, Warren Buffett only has 24 hours. And in that 24-hour period, I can either break my life or make my life. I just think that goals for people is too high on the priority list. And I think what should be on the priority list is going to bed so you can wake up the next day and you can grind it out. And I'm just a dude that believes you reap what you sow. So if you're grinding on Monday, grinding on Tuesday, grinding on Wednesday, if you're grinding 6-7 days a week for a span of 5 or 6 years, something's got to come out of that.
And what I found is that instead of trying to live a successful life, if you aim to have a successful day, you know, just, you know, 12, if you have 13 out of the 24 hours of your day, if you won those hours, you won the day. And if you win most of the days in a week, you won the week. You know, we just need a simple majority here, right? If you win, you know, most of the weeks in a month, there you go. Most of the months in a year, most of the years in a life. And all of a sudden, look at that. Without even trying, you've been able to kind of get somewhere.
People misunderstand money. Okay, just like fundamentally. And it's actually not money. They misunderstand themselves. They misunderstand what they actually want. What people want is fulfillment. What people want is to feel good. And they think that, wow, if I had, and here's the truth. What they know is when they buy something, it does feel good. And they know, if I could buy my mom a house, like that would feel good. If I could buy her a big house, a fancy car, make me feel good. And it is all 100% true. Buying a fancy car will make you feel good. Buying a big house will make you feel good. But it makes you feel good the way a bowl of ice cream makes you feel good. It's momentary happiness. It's transient. It will go away. The hedonic reset point. So you buy the big house and all of a sudden that's normal, baby. And so you really have to stop and, like, A, remind yourself to be grateful for that, but B, recognize that all the things you thought money was going to bring you, it brings you something completely different. And if you want fulfillment, fulfillment is about being something, becoming something. It's born of suffering. It is not born of having a cool car, because you want a cool car because of the way you want other people to look at you.
Right, and the way that will make you feel when you think that they look at you like that.
Exactly. So it's tenuous at best. And it hinges entirely on them actually looking at you that way. So now you're somebody else's pawn, because they can turn on you at any minute. So that's never going to bring you lasting fulfillment. It's not stable. It doesn't make you feel strong and rooted. But becoming somebody, setting your sights on gaining certain skill sets, of feeling a certain way, of being calm, being, you know, full of gratitude, like all the things from a neurochemical standpoint that we read as good, like none of money can't touch those things. So working on what I call framework happiness is the key to all that stuff, and money can't give you framework happiness.
I made the decision, it's the most important decision I believe of your life, that I'm not going to suffer anymore. Life's too short to suffer, and I'm going to live in a beautiful state every day. And the way I do it is I catch myself when I start to get that sense of stress, I let it go, and I see the idea go by. So your thoughts about this person messing up your business or not following through. If I was in a room with 10,000 people, I guarantee you 60, 70% of the business owners have the same thoughts at times, right? I ask people all the time, tell me your most stressful thought. Oh, I'm worried about my children, this may happen. How many people have had that thought? Everybody. I might not make it financially, blah, blah, blah. How many have had that? Everybody. My point is, it's not your thought. It's the mind, not your mind. When you think it's your mind, you identify with it, and you can't separate from yourself. Right. But when you realize, these thoughts have been around for millions of years. And I'm just thinking the same thought that so many people have thought before. Like, how many people have ever thought, I'm gonna kill this son of a bitch? Now, you didn't do it, because you didn't believe you're really gonna kill them. But you felt it, you said it, you were there, right? So we all have thoughts. It's only the stressful thoughts we believe that mess us up. So what I try to show people is, if you can start to realize these thoughts have been around for millions of years. So what I want you to realize is thoughts are invisible waves. When you turn on TV, it takes invisible waves, and depending on the channel, you're gonna see a love story, or an adventure, or a drama, or a comedy, or a horror. The way you use your body determines which of those thought waves come through you. One moment you're pissed off, the next moment somebody makes you laugh. You change your body, you change the channel, you change what comes through you. So what I've tried to do in this Airy Beautiful State is simple. First, identify where you're suffering. What's your favorite flavor? Are you a worrier? Are you a pissed off person?
Stressed, angry.
What is it you do? Second of all, decide you're gonna kill that monster while it's little. You're not gonna wait till it's Godzilla taking the city. You're gonna break the pattern. You start to feel the stress. You see it as thoughts going by, and then you focus on something to appreciate, enjoy, or love. Appreciation, love, and joy destroy suffering. You can't be grateful and angry simultaneously. It's possible. You can't be worried and fearful and grateful simultaneously. So I tell people gratitude is one of the emotions to cultivate that'll destroy the suffering. And that's what we teach people to do.
Check it out, and that's where we're going to end it tonight. So many people stayed on for the entire video. I'm so pleased. I thought everyone was going to go, right, we've finished now. We're going to get off. It's awesome, isn't it? That's 25 minutes of an hour and 6-minute video my mate Nav put on his YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube and just search for Absolute Motivation, you will find his channel. I'm going to be recording some podcasts with Nav for both Act on This and his channel as well in the new year. Some awesome stuff that's said there. I loved it where Tom Bilyeu said, he was like third from last day, he said, listen, you know, all fulfillment is born from suffering. And it just is, and that's what I was talking about before. 2017 has dealt you some of that. You know, that's ultimately where fulfillment is going to come from. You getting past that, pushing through, and creating advantage from the adversity that you have faced. So I hope you've enjoyed tonight. I hope everyone listening on the audio experience feels pumped up. Do you feel motivated, ready to smash 2018? This is the last broadcast we're doing of 2017. There will be no book club on Wednesday night, guys. I'm actually filming a Christmas special for Watch Ross for the vlog. Go to youtube.com/Watch Ross to subscribe. Make sure you don't miss that. The special Christmas episode is coming out on Christmas Day. I'm going to be filming that this week. Starts tomorrow. Don't forget, if you subscribe to that channel, there is still time. If you subscribe to youtube.com/Watch Ross and leave a comment on any video on there, each comment is an entry into a prize draw. I'm going to do on New Year's Eve, I'm going to draw someone at random. If they're an actor, I'm going to pay for their spotlight for 2018. If you're not an actor or you already paid for your spotlight, I'm going to give you £150 cash wired directly to your bank. I can't say fairer than that, but that's just as a little reward for you guys supporting me this year in 2017 with the vlog, watching it, commenting on it, subscribing to it, enjoying it. I'm going to bring you a shed load of value with it in 2018. Seems a common theme of fulfillment is clarity. Brendan Bashar's book we read helping with this. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, getting clear, Tony, on what you want. That's why goal setting is important, but it's also, you know, whether you hit those goals or not, it's falling in love with the process that's actually the main thing that's there. So it's been an amazing year, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. 52 weeks, we've done 2 broadcasts a week. We've done over 100 broadcasts this year on a Monday and a Wednesday. It's been amazing. Some of you guys have probably joined for every single one, so thank you. If you're listening on the audio experience, massively appreciate you downloading this podcast every week. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for stumbling across this video or subscribing. Just thanks for the support you've shown me, the Acts on This community this year. If you're not part of the Facebook group and you're listening to this or watching it for the first time and you're an actor, come to facebook.com/groups/Acts on This TV. Check out the website I run, actsonthis.tv. There's now over 500 hours of content on there, interviews with the biggest casting directors, agents, actors, directors, producers, writers, etc. Go and just lap it all up. Absorb all the information on there. That's going to help you get way further in 2018. Tony says, you're a great guy, Ross. Grateful for the community you've built. Grateful for you being here, Tony. You join us all the time from Chicago, man. That is some commitment, and I do massively appreciate you spending that time with us. I want to remind people as well that we were talking about Michael Hyatt's program last week. Well, actually for the last 2 weeks. It's called 5 Days to Your Best Year Ever. This closes for registration literally tomorrow. that's it. It's done for another year. If you want to get the program that changed my life when it comes to goal setting and be involved with this, either like on the independent version of it, or you want to get the VIP version from Michael so you become part of his Facebook group and get live coaching every month on goals and sticking to your goals and achieving more than you've ever achieved before in your life, go to act.network/BYE2018, stands for Best Year Ever 2018, act.network/BYE2018. I think you've got literally like 24 hours now to do this. This is literally the last few hours to get in on this. He's in America, so we're a little bit ahead of him in the UK, but it'll be closing in the next 24, 30 hours or so. So if you do get the, if you've got the bug really for goal setting, you want to smash 2018, cannot recommend this enough. I bought it again for the 5th year on the run. Tony says he's thinking of getting the independent study version. Do it, Tony. I'm not like pushing people. I would never push people into anything I did not believe in, like 100%. And I put my money where my mouth is on this. I buy it every single year. And every single year, I think I achieve more through doing goal setting in this way. So do check it out, act.network/BYE2018. And I'm going to leave you with a 60-second clip of today's episode of Watch Ross. It's a funny one. It's getting very Christmassy. All kinds of things happen on this vlog. Like I say, the Christmas Day episode is going to have an alternative Queen speech on it. I'm going to be reflecting on the year. A little bit like tonight, actually. Probably include some of the lessons I've spoken about tonight. Sean is my business partner. We'll be talking about this year. And Petch as well. The legendary cameraman Petch. We'll be talking about our year. And it's going to give people an alternative. If you don't want to watch the Queen in the UK, at 3:15 or whenever she does a Queen speech, you can watch Ross instead. I think it'll be way more entertaining. But here's a 60-second clip of today's vlog. If you want to go and watch the rest of it, go to youtube.com/Watch Ross. Make sure you subscribe, turn notifications on, and leave a comment. Like I said, every comment you leave is an entry to that prize draw to win a Spotlight subscription or £150 cash. Tony, if you win, I'll pay you in dollars, mate. You know, anyone can enter. It's not a problem. But thank you, really, for this year. It's been amazing. If I can help you with anything, get in touch. Tweet me at @OnThisTV, @RossAGrant. And let's just smash the hell out of 2018, guys, and literally make it our best year ever. Love to you all and your families. Have an amazing time. Bye for now. I need to buy Christmas presents for my niece and my nephew. But we thought, you know what? Instead of buying them,
Let's go and win them.
let's go and try and win them. Let the fun commence. Do you want to explain to the vlog why you've got your sports leggings on and your trainers? Well, that is an inspiring tale about how one reindeer with a red nose went from zero to hero. Yeah. I love it. Are you on, Petch? Up 7 floors, 1, 2, 3. There you go. Made it. I just want people to realise that sometimes you overcomplicate things and stuff's not as hard as you want to make it. Come on, Buzz. Let's go. It's not how you win, but we'll get him on round 2. Matt, the producer who was here last time, said I was the best voiceover artist he'd ever worked with. Do you concur?
I think you're the best voiceover artist Matt's ever worked with, yeah.
There's no catch. Like, seriously, there is just no catch this week whatsoever.